Hey y'all, if you want to see how I got these bubble freckles, stay tuned. So let me tell you something. This week was a week. It's been nuts so shit. We're trying to close on the house on the 2nd, and so we gotta get all this stuff in order, and we have a heat wave in Michigan right now. You'll see the fan blowing my hair in this video, and on top of it all, I have a kidney stone. So we're just kind of vibing. We're vibing. Yeah. That's why I kind of started these once a week videos, is so that I can kind of cheer myself up. Because for me, at least, when it rains, it pours as far as my luck goes. So, trying to cope as far as all this downtroddenness. This is the reference photo. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. I don't know who the girl is. But I saw that one photo one time, and it's literally been stuck in my head for like 2 years. So I'm finally getting around to this look. My strategy is to use caps as stencils, which you'll see what I mean. So first off, e.l.f. poreless primer, put that shit on. I'm very sweaty, so I had to put it like everywhere. Misha Cushion Foundation. Sorry about the bad lighting. I didn't feel like putting up my backdrop because it was just too warm. I just didn't want to. So the reason I have the backdrop is because otherwise my camera catches weird light. So yeah, we're gonna apply foundation all over just like you normally would. Basically, I'm gonna speed through this base routine only because it's nothing really that special in my opinion. So yeah, so foundation and then all that good stuff. We got concealer slash highlighter. Not highlighter, highlighting, I suppose. The fan kept making my eyes water. That's why if you see me roll my eyes, that's what I'm doing, trying to undry them. So like I said, we're gonna speed through this part because it's literally nothing special. Now, as far as this look goes, I also was going, like any other look, I do trial and error. I don't do test, I don't know, a trial run, a test run, if you will, only because I can only do things right one time. I know myself, and usually things turn out pretty okay the first time, and that's usually good enough for me. I think there's only been one occasion where I'm like, okay, I'll redo this look tomorrow. And I don't even remember what video it was, but usually I'll just headbang it until I get it to a point that I like, or I'll just start over. So yeah. So, just doing like a cute little creamy base. I will say this is a very cute look if you're going to like a festival, I suppose, or something. Obviously, I've never been. And you can tell what I'm by my tone. It'd be really cute at a festival. Bubbles. But honestly, it could be. But if you do this at a festival, I would definitely say don't use face paint like I do later in the video. I would definitely recommend a matte eyeliner that's very forgiving as far as movement goes and doesn't crackle. So keep that in mind. So for eyes, we're just going to keep it really, really simple. Pink, peachy, salmon, like in the crease, and then a matte skin tone on like the rest of the eye. It's really nothing fancy because I go in with graphic liner as the preview picture showed, as well as the thumbnail, and jazz it up. And then I decided I didn't really want a bronze today. I kind of wanted more pinky tone, so I took my eyeshadow, put it down my nose, rounded out the tip, all that good stuff. Like I said, taking a white graphic liner. This is from Matte Lashes. And while it's a good liner, however, it wasn't as white and smooth, I suppose, as I wanted it to be once it dried. And that could be my fault. I was using probably too much Fix It because I was mixing this with Fix It Plus instead of like water or whatever. And it's kind of hard to control the amount that comes out. Insofar as it being, a little amount for a lot of product. But like you can see, it grays out in some areas, and then when I reapply, it's nice and bright, and then it oxidizes to be more dull. So, like I said, I don't know, maybe it was me. I love their black liner, so I can't really talk shit. I was just doing whatever feels right. I don't know, doing something whack, something crazy. Any messed up spots, just take a Q-tip and delete. Had to go and change my fan because my eyes kept watering. I will say for this look, kind of wish I put more blush on my cheeks. I don't think I go in and really put any down after the fact, but I do think it would make the bubbles pop more, if that's your vibe. So would recommend. Definitely did not mean to leave all this in. There we go. Oh, it's because of time lapse. Sorry. I was like, why did I keep that in? I'm like, oh, I just cut and time lapse. So then I just go in and I kind of clean it up, refine it, make little tweaks so it's even. And then I didn't like what I did there. So I've explained this before. I have hooded eyes. It's actually really hard to do like a fun eyeshadowy look that's like cut crease or super graphic or whatever, because I have very limited real estate. Otherwise, my little eye just covers the grotto. So going in with this white marker eyeliner, white pen eyeliner. I got it off Shein, probably Shein Glam brand or something. It's fairly creamy, except it does get a little like goopy. So I'm not going to necessarily recommend it, but it worked for what I needed. Why? Oh, I was like, why is this slow down? It's because I like held it up for literally 5 seconds, or not even 5 seconds, like 0.5 seconds. So I slowed it down so you could actually see what I was talking about. Anyway, these are little chromatic eyeshadows. They're a Shein Glam brand. They went viral on TikTok for a little bit, especially like Chinese TikTok, I believe. Just for being very, very bright and like pungent highlighters visually. So I put a little notation in there. On camera, they don't really show up the pigment that they claim to be. However, in real life, like me looking in my mirror in this moment, it was there. You could see the green, you could see the purple, or pink, and then you could see the champagne. So take that with a grain of salt, I suppose. So on my eyeliner above my lash line, I put pink, then in the middle line I put green, and then champagne right underneath my eyebrow, just to tone it down a little bit because it was looking kind of bunky. And it stuck really well to this eyeliner Fix It Plus combination. And then I took that champagne underneath my eyes again. Not again, but I took it underneath my eyes, stabbed myself in the eyeball, per usual. And that was that. So, my theory, like I said, I'm going to use caps. And use them as stencils for the bubbles. That way I don't have to draw on circles. So I took my face paint, covered the edge, and then I just went ahead and kind of like freestyle or freehandedly just stamped. There wasn't really a method to my madness. I think I knew I wanted 3 sizes, so I have like a small, a medium, and a large. This is the largest. And then I cleaned off every cap. You know, obviously you want to do that because oil-based face paint, this is oil-based by the way, it does not freaking dry, dude. It stays creamy forever, which sometimes is good, sometimes, like today, was not. This was the eyeliner pen cap. And then I used like a lipstick that I had. And then I did overlap them. Some were in front, some were behind. I put some above my eyebrow, on my chin. I went back and put more on my other eyebrow. Like hers in the reference photo interacted with her eyebrow, as in they sat on top. I know my eyebrow texture and they're unwieldy AF, so I wasn't even going to attempt that because that probably would have set me into a spiral. And then I took the end of a brush and just dipped it in white eyeliner just to add a little bit more like oomph here and there and everywhere. The idea was to make those into sparkles like the reference photos, see, and then it just did not work out. I did not like that. maybe they were too big, or I just wasn't vibing. I'm not like a huge sparkle girl either, so I just don't think it was me. So I decided to take this in a little creative direction, or a different creative direction. So where I put that little sparkle, went over it with a little bit of concealer, and then turned it into a bubble. Because when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Or when life gives you sparkles, you make bubbles. God, I hate when things are in, like, sped up, because then everything after looks slow motion. Like, girl, go faster. Why are you moving so slow? I'm talking to myself. I don't know why I do that, but I always like talk to the camera / myself, and then I know I'm not going to keep it in. So I was originally planning on just using those eyeshadows that I showed you previously that I used on my eyeliner, and some sparkles, and just go to town, because I thought it would give like a cool texture effect. It did not give as much vibrancy as I'd like. So I would say in this step, just blend out the edges of your bubbles as much as you can. I put a notation in there saying use a round brush. It's just like painting. If you're going to go along curves, use a round brush. If you're going along straight edges, straight lines, use an angled or a flat brush. So in here, I'm just kind of grabbing product from the center and blending inward. I should say from the, how do I say this? From the center of the bubble, I'm grabbing the innermost line and dragging it inward toward the center of the bubble. But I'm leaving that outer part of the stencil line so that it's still defined. I don't know if y'all get it, but it's okay, because I don't get what I'm saying either. I'm so tired. Basically just soften the freaking edges. I don't know. Get pissed off. So I was adding the blue and the green, and then I was like sighing because I'm like, this isn't working the way I wanted it to, which is fine. So I went back in and redefined some of the edges just so I know where to start. For my next step, by the way, with graphic liner, and like if you're new to it like I am, I follow, oh my gosh, what is her name? Something May, I think, on TikTok. She's an Asian girl with all those symmetrical tattoos, and she does all these like really cool face paints and makeup looks. But she always says if you do graphic liner, just go with it. Follow your anatomy. So like me, I just put pressure and followed wherever the bone socket like led me, and it honestly worked out really well. Like, try not to control your flesh too much, especially if you have hooded eyes like I do, because you can't. It's so unwieldy. It's literally a moving canvas, so just be forgiving, but go for it. So you're adding blue, or not blues, I keep saying blues, I think. Adding pinks and greens. And like, it's kind of cool, don't get me wrong, I vibe with it, but at the same time, I'm like, this isn't what I wanted. I'm just doing it willy-nilly. And then I went back and added the highlights to see if that would help. Because I still haven't given up the ghost at this point. Just random highlights. So then I took these markers. Now, I'm going to say, as the notation says, if you use face paint, use markers because it will dilute the color, the pigment. If you use eyeliner that dried down by now, use a more like crayon or pencil based creamy formula pencil. Or like whatever, or eyeshadow even. Just something that's a lot more workable and comes in different shades. I knew that these pens, even though they're super, super pigmented and super, super vibrant, when I mix them with white face paint, it's going to dull it down and turn them into pastels. So that's why I chose this way, but I would not recommend it if you went with a different formula as the base you'll be working upon. So similarly with the shimmers, just kind of putting the colors willy-nilly, and I did have like a little reference, so my hairpins are the little bubbles And then I had 2 more in front of me, so I was kind of working off those colors. So there was a lot of purples, blues. There was some teal in there. And then I threw in like yellows and whatever. Just whatever felt good. Didn't really do any oranges, I think. Yeah, I did keep on forgetting about my nose. So we're going to ignore that. And in a way, it kind of worked out that I put the shimmer down because it mixed with the pencil and the formula. And then it stayed kind of like with the sheen, which worked really nicely against the matteness of my face. And then I did take a little purple pen because it was rather dark, and I just created shadows where bubbles overlapped or I felt like it would be nice. Also, I'm going to encourage you, don't put any bubbles where like you have creasing. So like I did it by my chin, the bubble on top of that like 3 the triangle bubbles, I suppose, on my chin. The one on top kept on getting smudged from the crease of my chin, so would not recommend. Know your anatomy. These are what I'm talking about. If you use like a drier base, use a creamier formula on top. Something that's not going to be so saturated. Now I use these because I wanted a little bit of purple in there and whatever other colors I decided to use. And I know that these aren't going to be like too much or too little. See? It just adds a little bit more dimension without being super harsh, such as a marker might be. And I try to correspond colors with one another, such as like purples, pinks. They kind of go together. Greens and yellows and blues, kind of, as well. Just because they all kind of melt into one another. It's basically just color theory, keep it together. Earbud just dropped. And then I decided to take this like aqua color. You can use whatever color you want. I just thought this would complement my eye color just a little bit more. And then added that to the eyeliner that I had down in a very accentuated way. Now keep in mind, this look isn't, for me at least, meant to be flattering necessarily. It's supposed to be very artsy-fartsy, for lack of a better term. So, went back in with some white to redefine some edges that I thought were getting blurred a little too much. Then added these little like white freckles just for a little bit more texture visually to work with. And then I decided to take this blue creamy eyeliner and just add a little bit of oomph into my inner corner of the middle graphic line that I created earlier. Literally, like I said, I don't plan this out. I just kind of go with the flow, because any reference photos I pull up for eyes especially will not happen. Guaranteed. So just tapping to blend that in. Super small strokes with a light hand. Curled my eyelashes, and then I actually put burgundy mascara on them, once again to complement my green eyes. I've actually used this just on like a normal daily basis, and honestly it slays. So ladies, if you have colored eyes or even not colored eyes, learn what works with your eye color, if that makes any sense at all. So like green eyes do well with brown and purple and burgundy mascara. I'm not sure about blue, but I'd imagine probably brown mascara would work with that because they're complemented by orange. And then y'all get that kind of brown eyes out there. I don't know who said you guys are unlucky. You can work with so many different colors, so many different things. You look good in like any and everything. I can't do super bright eye colors in my eyeshadow without looking like a fool, but y'all do it and you look gorgeous. Like I look like Miley Cyrus in that one photo because it sounds like a first world problem, but they pop too much. Anyway, so I put some berry lip oil on, and then I deepened it with like a red berry lipstick. So made myself cringe. And yes, so thank you. Goodbye. Have a great day, my lovelies. Goodbye.